Hello my friends, my name is Don and welcome to a very special video where I have a look at features I would like to see from either improved or added to Football Manager 2019. We're going to have a quick look and I'm going to jump through my personal save to go through all these, and there is more features that I would like, but I'm just going to highlight 5 that I think are must adds or must improvements for FM19. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, hit subscribe and we'll go through the list. First feature that I would really like to see improved, and I'm going to use this lad here as my example. I have him in my personal save. He's a very, very good world class striker who has a bit of interest in him. If we go down to his transfer information, we can see that Barcelona, Bayern and Stoke are interested. If we have a look at some of the media things, Fisher, actually none there just now to show you, but that's a frustrating. But the media things say these teams are plotting to make a bid of £34 million. Now to a Scottish club that's a lot of money, but if you look at this player, he's worth 31.5. He's pretty world class, you know, and if you look at his history, he's won a Club World Championship Best Player, World Player of the Year, Best Player in Europe, Footballer of the Year, World Footballer of the Year rather, Champions League Forward of the Season, European Cup, Champions Cup Golden Boot, 3rd place. You know, this is a guy who, realistically, I'm not going to sell for 34 million. So one, I'd like to see that improved in terms of the transfer window. But I'd also like to see, and I'm just looking at my notes, which is why I keep looking away from the camera, so I do apologise because I want to make sure I get this right, is when you have a player like this, if I was to transfer list him, I'm about to go in a game so I can't do it and emphasise it to you and then come back to my save later on. But if I was to transfer list him, all 3 of these teams would come in. Their offers would be very, very similar, if not identical. I don't think that's realistic. Do they go on a Skype call and say, hey listen, we're planning on bidding for this guy, do you want to just make the same offer? I don't believe that that's how football works. I could be wrong. I am not a football manager in real life. I have not got any inside information into clubs, which obviously impacts that on my opinion. But what I would like to see, and you have seen it a couple of times on FM18, I've seen it once over 7 seasons in this save, none in my journeyman save, none in the Rangers save that I had previous, and none in the beta save that I had with PSG. I'd like to see a bidding war. I've seen one, I've seen a few through Facebook groups, so they do happen, but what I'd like to see is Barcelona come in and say, right, we come in at 31 million. Bayern go, right, well we want him, so we'll come in at 40 million. Stoke, probably the most unrealistic option of these 3 teams to be honest, come in and say, right, well, tell you what, we can't compete with Bayern and Barcelona in terms of wages, so we'll give you 50 million because we can compete on transfer fee with our TV deal in England. So we'll give you 50 million plus some add-ons, da 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 da. Bayern come back in, Barcelona come back in, so forth. Suddenly this £30 million player is now worth a lot more. That's obviously an extreme example, but I'd like to see more bidding wars, particularly when there's a lot of interest on a player. It makes selling a lot more interesting, makes selling a bit easier, but it also makes, when you're buying a player, if there's interest in that player, you could say, right, so I'm Rangers, and there was a player that I actually signed earlier in this, the year where I tried this, was, I wanted a player, Watford wanted, but I can't compete for wages with Watford, so they had offered them X amount of money. I went, right, I'll offer an extra 500,000 on top of that, and I'll give you some add-ons. In the end, none of those add-ons were actually ever triggered, but what the AI didn't do was then go, right, we're going to reject that Watford bid now because we've got a better bid. Watford could then came and overcut me, and you know, again, that makes me, or my job, while trying to bid for a player, while there's AI interest, that little bit harder. So I think that would make the transfer window more interesting, and it would allow you, if you can compete with wages with some of the bigger teams to fight, or bigger teams that are wanting your, smaller teams that are wanting your players to fight with each other as well, if they can compete with wages. And I think that would be a much, much more interesting transfer market. Next up, and we're looking at a 35-year-old Raja Nangolan. He's already left the club. He signed on a free transfer in the summer, not really got a game, and we got an offer, so we accepted it in terms of this save. But what I'm looking at specifically here is his contract, and I think a contract changes would be absolutely massive. So Raja Nangolan is perfect for me to show you this in my save. because one, he's aging, which is one of the things I want to focus on here. Two, he's a midfielder, so again, it's going to highlight something I want to pick up on here, because which would where it come in. And well, three is not quite so relevant for Rajanangolan specifically, but again, we could work with it, so I think he is the perfect player to show this. So, I would like to see pay-to-play contract brought in straight away. So right now, Rajanangolan gets 7,500 a week, plus 3,000 when he plays, for an appearance fee, and 2,000 if he appears from the bench. What is very common, or at least certainly it's mentioned a lot in Scotland, a senior player comes to Scotland, or a player that's got a history with a lot of injuries comes, they will get, say, again we'll look at Nangolan, they'll have 3,000 a week as their contract. Their pay-to-play contract, so that would be their guaranteed wage. Which would be much, much smaller, 3,000, I'm just saying off the top of my head. The rest would be made up based on appearance fee. So you could automatically get a pay-as-you-play contract option, and you've got your part-time, your full-time, pay-as-you-play. So your pay-as-you-play would be equal to a full-time, but it would automatically weight more to bonuses. So your appearance fee would then be the 7,500, rather than the full-time contract. Or however it works, maybe the full-time contract would automatically go to zero, and appearance fee would be the money. I'm not quite sure how it would work in real life. There would be guys who are much more knowledgeable than me, but I would like to see play-to-play contracts come in. The other thing is bonuses. Right now you get a goal bonus, a clean sheet bonus, appearance fee, team of the year bonuses, unused substitute fee, stuff like that, loyalty bonuses, all those kind of things. Let's get an assist bonus. If I am signing a midfielder, so say I'm signing Ozil. Ozil is known for creating chances. That was what Ozil built his career on. Why would I bring him in and say, right, I'll give you a goal bonus, and then he goes, right, I get 3,000 if I take this shot, but if I pass to Ronaldo I get nothing. So he's going to take that shot. If you're a player and you think of that, you're going to take that shot. So I would say putting in a assist fee in there for players like that, so they might get 3,000 if they score still, or they might get 4,500 if they assist a player. I think having an assist bonus, particularly for midfielders or creative players, or a striker you want to be a hold-up striker for somebody else to come in behind and or set up somebody else, would be a massive, massive thing. Could go into full-backs as well, wing-backs, all these kind of players. I think an assist bonus is a good idea. And the other one I'm going to just have a quick look at contract-wise that I can show you. So in fact I will just keep using Rajanangolan. So if we look at Rajanangolan, he has a favourite clubs of Calgary and Roma. Not the best example, so let's go to someone else. Try to think who's got a favourite club here that would be of interest. So Daniel Fisher, he has a favourite club of Red Bull Salzburg. Now that's a player one. So again, it's not the best example, but in the event that he is a supporter. So again, if we go to Russ McCrory, he's a really good example. He's already at Rangers, of course. So Russ McCrory is playing with Manchester City. He wants to play for Rangers. He's a Rangers supporter. He's never played there. And this is a clause that I've seen happening, or I've heard of happening a few times. It's maybe not the most common clause, so it's maybe one that would be a rarer clause that players would ask for that the clubs maybe wouldn't necessarily want. But I would say, let's have a release fee clause that only applies for certain clubs in certain situations. I believe Paul Scholes was one that was well known. If Preston got to the Premier League, he was allowed to go to Preston. I'd like to see that brought into contracts, just one extra type of release clause to deal with. Give the players a bit more personality. They want to play for this club. That's where they see their plans. They might not be the best club in the world, but if they achieve that, they can, I want to go there kind of thing, and help them achieve greater. So the next feature I would like to look at is this one down here. Staff. Right now it says here, so if we have a look, we're allowed 120 as manager. That makes sense. One head of youth development makes sense. Maybe we'd like to be able to bring people around him to affect the youth development a bit more than just having a head of youth development affecting it. One assistant manager again makes sense. When we get to coaches, physios, scouts, sports scientists, stuff like that, as you see, I've got 14 with allowed 12. I was allowed more at one point, so that's not a great example. Youth staff again, same. Scouts, I've got 17 out of 17. Why are you saying, I don't understand why the game would say to me, right, here, you're allowed 17 scouts. So if I go into my scouts, go straight into my scouts here, and have a look. So here's Derek Langley, he's my chief scout. So he's not the best example, he's on 1,900 a week. If I go to, in fact, let's click this onto contract, because this is kind of what I want to highlight. So, by wage, please. So, right now, I can pay Tony Coulter 4,600 a week. He's a fairly average scout compared to the rest of them. Or I can go all the way down here to this lad, Peter Kasparak, pay him 1,600 a week. So, and he is arguably a better scout. You know, he's 15-20 rather than the 11-18. So he is a better scout. I've got Peter Stowe at 1,800 a week. Fairly decent scout again, fairly average, decent. But what I would like to see is a game encouraging you to have more people, like, so you could have maybe 30 scouts, but you have to have them at this wage. So you say, right, we have a scouting wage, so on top of your scout budget, you have a wage budget per scout. So the board say to you, we want to spend 16,000 a week on scouts. That's their wages. So I could get 10 scouts at 1,600, or, you know, 20 at 800, 40 at 400 a week. And then I've got a decision to make between what to do, and turning out finding scouts that want lower wages then becomes a problem, the thing to do, because you could get that great scout that wants 5,000 a week, but you're now eating a chunk of your budget and you're finding less players as a result of that. Coaching staff as well, the same thing. So right now I've got 14 out of 12. If we go to my coaching staff, and again just click by wage, I've got Antonio Gomez on 7,000 a week. How much better is he than, say, I'm going to use a different example, Grant Murray. So Grant Murray, they're different positions of course, but if we go to our coaches and we have a look at Antonio Gomez is 4.5 star. If you have a look at Gareth McCauley, actually maybe he's half the wage, 4.5 star. In a different position, Grant Murray 4 star, on £2,000 a week. You know, by saying, right, and particularly at lower levels, they could say, right, we want to spend no more than £1,000 a week on coaches. That can or might not include your assistant manager. That could be dependent on the way they want to work it. I think I would include the assistant manager in that, because the assistant manager works as coaching budget. So for your £1,000 a week, you're allowed as many coaches and one assistant manager as you want. And from there, you can then build and say, right, I want to have one really good coach, or I want to have lots of little ones that can be increased in specialisation. And I think that would make the coaching and the, you know, the way you hire your staff much more realistic. Because right now, if you go by stats, you just go, right, this is the stat I want, this is the position I want, search by that, or you put an ad in the job centre, wait until someone comes up with the stats that you want, you hire them, and you're done. You get another space, you do the same. I don't think that's necessarily realistic in terms of how I would, and again, as I said earlier in the video, I'm not privy to how football clubs work, I've not got insider knowledge, but I would imagine that the board doesn't go, right, you've got whatever wages you want to spend, you can spend a maximum of, I don't even know what my maximum actually is for a coach. So let's have a look at a coach include it, and get rid of that, just so I can hire just approach anybody. So we will let you hire as many coaches as you want. You can spend up to £6,500 a week on each coach. So you get 10 coaches at that. So I'm allowed 12 coaches at £6,225 a week. So that's 70,000 a week, right? Plus my assistant manager, who is on, what's my assistant manager on? Can't even find him now. He's on 4.5. So right, so we say 6.5, 625. So we've got 13 625s. My maths is completely off just now, so 16 times 13, 81,250. That's now my wage budget. Now, for that wage budget, I can hire as many coaches and an assistant manager as I want, or they can reduce that and say, right, do you know what, we'll allow you to spend up to 6,200 per coach, same way as they do with the player budget, but we want you to spend, so you've got, say they give me 50,000, but I can spend up to 6,250 on one coach, or an assistant manager at a time, the same way as they do as the player budget is what I was trying to say there, where it's getting so muddled up. Apologies for that, guys. I think that would make building your coaching team so much more personalised, and for me, you know, you see managers bringing coaches with them. I think that would be the way that it would work. It's so important. I think when someone hires a manager, he often says, right, I want this guy to come with me, I want this guy, I want this guy. Even new coaches, you know, you see Steven Gerrard at Rangers, he brought a lot of people that he'd worked with him, because that was important to him, to have people that he trusted behind him. And I think that would make building your coaching team on Football Manager much more realistic. Next up, I'm going to focus specifically on me as a manager, and how I as a manager in a game is portrayed compared to an AI manager in a game. And we're just going to look at this screen, and I'm going to click Nigel Atkins because he's quite a good example. He's current England manager at my save, but as you see, he tends to spend on youth signings. Sign many youth players, signs youth players for the first team, uses target man, uses counter-attacks. Sign domestic-based players and makes early tactical changes. So, these are all his tendencies. And, tends not to sign domestic players and make early tactical changes. So, these are his tendencies, and these are the tendencies he doesn't tend to do. If you have a look here, I don't have any of that. No matter how I look, I won't have any of that. And I think if I was a football chairman, managing a football club, and, you know, Nigel Adkins and Stephen Robinson, do apologise, and Tommy Wright applied for a job, I would have a look at them and I would say, right, Nigel Adkins, he likes to sign lots of youth players, right, I have a youth development programme, that's great. He likes to use a target attack, and he plays a bit defensive, counter-attack in football, right, might not like that. Doesn't like to sign domestic talent, and he doesn't make early changes if things are going wrong. So, Stephen Robinson's applied for the same job, and he comes to me and I look at his history, and he makes early tactical changes. Doesn't necessarily have the youth development, but I could ask that of him. And Tommy Wright's applied, and he signs domestic-based players, and will be, tries to have strong set-piece routines. So I've now got 3 managers. I have a basis of what they like to do tactically, what they like to do in the transfer market, and what they like to do, and what they don't like to do. Does that make sense? So, I don't know why I said does that make sense. That's like a YouTube no. Sorry guys. But I've got 3 applications there, and I have a lot of different ways to understand them. Now, if we have a look at the player manager, now of course, maybe the game has this hidden, but I would like to see this accessible to the player, and it will transition depending on how the player plays the game. So originally it will start with none, but I have my reputation, I've got my media handling, my tactical consistency, which is 100% because I've used the same tactic through the entire save, hands-on approach, managing finances, handling team discipline, domestic player bias, all that kind of stuff. But I don't have these tendencies. I would like to be able to say, right, so right now I go for a job interview with Real Madrid, and they say to me, you've been involved in a media controversy, you've been involved in dressing room controversies, you've been involved in this, you've been involved in that. But if I was to have these tendencies to go, right, so you've had a consistency of developing young players, would you feel comfortable changing that philosophy, or is that something that you believe in strongly enough that you would want to do it at Real Madrid? So it could be that they say, right, we want to sign global superstars. I've never signed global superstars, so that would be their focus. I think developing something like having tendencies would, 1, make press conferences a bit more interesting, 2, would make job interviews more interesting for the journeyman save, and give me as the player a bit of personality in similar ways to the AI has that personality. I know I've got my personality anyway because I'm me and I can imagine that, but I don't think that comes into the game, and I'd like to see the player have just a bit more information in the game based on how they play it, and again, that can be adaptable based on their play style and how they've been treated by clubs, or how clubs have demanded things of them. Lastly, and probably least surprisingly, to be honest, on this list is training. So one that everyone talks about. Now, if we have a look at this little pie chart, that tells me what I've done in the last 53 weeks. So I've done 26% ball control, 15% attacking, 25% balance. Would have done balance for the season just to try it, because I've got no idea what I'm doing with training, to be honest, and I'm very much veteran, and 34% fitness, which has almost been all pre-season. So what I think's the big issue with this, I hover over attacking. The training will be focused on improving the squad's attacking abilities. That's what I'm currently doing. Right, so if I now go and click on a player, so let's use Daniel Fisher again. Does that improve crossing, dribbling, finishing, first touch, heading, passing? You know, I would say passing is quite important to attacking. If you look at the mentals, I would say composure, concentration, decisions, flair, anticipation. I would even say pace and agility and acceleration are all part of attacking. So, and this literally probably highlights the issue, I am now Googling, because I should have had this up before I did this, but I'm being very unprofessional today. So, I now have a guide on my other monitor. Now I can click this and I can see, so here's attacking. So I now know that attacking does crossing, finishing, long shots, passing, off the ball, and vision. Fair enough. You know, there's lots of things that are going to passing, but I would say, does passing come into ball control? No, it doesn't. I would say passing's in ball control. Instead, in ball control is dribbling, first touch, heading, technique, and flair. I think that one, this training system isn't very good, because why would I want to teach my young 18-year-old centre back who's got a bit of potential how to attack? I want to teach him how to defend. Whereas my young 20-year-old striker, Dylan Monroe, I want to teach him how to finish. He needs a bit of work in his final third. I'd like to see that. So why? It frustrates me, and I think, you know, if you go back to Football Manager 2008, 2007, those sort of ages, you've got to, you would come in and you would say, right, I want you three to do piggy in the middle. I want you to do 5 versus 2. You know, I'm trying to think of ones that are off the top of my head, that are training routines. But again, I'm not as privy to football clubs and how they work in training. I'm not a coach, so you know, other people will be able to tell me more routines than what I will. But you know, coming in and saying, right, I want you to work on this, this, and this. You guys work on that, that, and that. Right, then let's have a 5-a-side, attacking team versus defending team, or all defending team in the box, attacking team attack each other. That works on their defence, that works on their attack. And you know, I could then say, right, to say my fullbacks and my wingers, right, different days, I want you to come down, you're in the defending team. The next day, next month, you're in the attacking team. You know, stuff like that, to work on them as a balanced way. Same with midfielders. I think that right now training is in such dire need. I'm trying to see, do I have anyone that's actually unhappy with training right now? Unhappy. One unhappy. Amir Begovic. Click on it. Let's go to development training. Early signs shows they may be on the decline of a footballer, right? No, it is. Feels the team is not working enough on match preparation, should be put on an individual training routine to improve his quickness. Right, that's not the best option then. So training again, not unhappy at youth level, which is a bit frustrating. But you know, if I was to go into my journeyman save, there was a number of players that were unhappy with training. Why they were unhappy with training, I do not know. It doesn't say. It just says it doesn't feel it's working for them. But I'm training, say, again, let's use Daniel Fisher. So he is unhappy because he's getting trained in advanced forward and heading, which is not really the best. I probably shouldn't actually be training him on heading because he's got no jumping reach. But So I am training him on those two things, and he could say to me, I am unhappy with my training routine. But it doesn't tell you what, and you've got no power to change it anyway. What do? Do you now say, right, I'm putting you as an advanced forward, but I'm going to, you know, train you as a complete forward just so you're happy. It doesn't make sense, and it's not very user friendly. I think a big overhaul, and I know a lot of people will agree with me on this, a big overhaul of training is needed. However, I'm going to end this episode here, well, this video rather, here. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. There is features, official features, starting to come out as of Thursday, I believe, so just keep an eye out for that. But if you enjoyed this, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll hopefully catch you all next time.